And now to our interview with Ambassador Ahmed Ibeto. It's not often you find a diplomat resigning his position, and that's because an invite into the world of diplomacy is an invite to serve one's country. Ambassador Ibeto had barely served a year as High Commissioner to South Africa when he returned to Nigeria to submit his letter of resignation. His next ambition? The Niger State governorship race. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betsy Dibia, spoke with him recently about his assignment in the country.
I know we waited for a long time for you to come, and now you're leaving. And when you resumed, you listed a number of priority areas that you needed to focus on in order to improve the comfort of Nigerians here and improve the relationship between both countries. Which areas do you think you may have made a difference in the short period you've been here?
Well, in the first place, let me thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interact with Nigerians. Also to say that, yes, I have decided when I came to bring out my priority areas in line with, the assignment given to me by Mr. President. And I will say that, yes, I have made a tremendous progress in laying the foundation for what I wanted to do, though I could not fulfill some of them. But I'm sure you are on the ground here too. You could see the relationship between among Nigerians first, then a relationship between Nigerians and South Africans. I met a situation where it is not something of pride to be even a Nigerian. So, and I decided to say, look, we must change narratives. What were the causes of this problem when Nigerians were actually, in some instance, looked at with contempt by our host communities, various communities within South Africa. And I decided to say that we must go back to the basics, to look at the issues and then try to address them, which we have started. Particularly the engagement between the missions, both the High Commission and the Consulate, with the Nigerian Association, with Nigerian communities around, most part of South Africa. I wanted to engage the communities in all the provinces, but I think at the end of the day, out of 9 provinces, I was able to interact with Nigerians in Gauteng. I was able to interact with Nigerians in Western Cape. I was able to interact with Nigerians in Limpopo province. And I believe that with the kind of engagement we had, most of the issues were actually being tabled to be addressed. And so far I can say that I have been able to do, the little I can within the short span of time I had.
What areas do you think Nigeria or Nigeria's relations with South Africa can be improved? The Binational Commission is dormant, and that's a very vital platform to negotiate some of these things that we worry about.
Yes. Well, I have said it often that we have to look at the advantages in the two countries. By the time when we convene the Binational Commission, it's the issue of allowing some of these Nigerian businesses to thrive in South Africa. Like for instance, we already had an air agreement, but unfortunately air transport agreement. But unfortunately, we have at present 2 airlines that wanted to come into South Africa to operate. But believe me, it was very difficult. And I know the kind of efforts I made in order to contact. Each institution you contact will actually, shift you or, just tell you to go to see another institution, that they are not responsible. And we have written several letters, we made several contacts, but up to now.
But doesn't that have to do with standards?
No, it doesn't have to do with the standard. I think it is just it's just a system where
Protectionist.
Protectionist. Like even the institution are trying to protect, because I know, each nation has its own way of protecting its own business interests.
South African Airlines flies every day.
That's right. That is it.
So
but we have Medview, we have some Air Peace. Most of these airlines for the past, I believe, for the past 8 months or so, they have applied and then, on their own, but they couldn't make headway, so they resorted to, contacting the missions, and we also did our bits. And I had opportunity to discuss with the officials to say, look, this is one of the problems we are having, and please try to see how you can solve it. But I'm sure maybe, but because the problem is still there.
It can't be that difficult.
Yes, well, and also I think I wouldn't say it is a retaliatory, but you see, also Airlink intended to make a direct flight to Abuja, and they are finding it difficult. Yeah, because there are certain regulations that, some of these requirements made known to them by our officials in the Ministry of Aviation, which they couldn't meet. And they said, well, it seems that if those regulations must be met, then obviously it is just an indication that they are not wanted to, fly that route. If we are able to look at the advantages that we have, that is both Nigeria and South Africa, we do not have to look elsewhere to develop the African continent. And I believe that in addition to, implementing all those agreements that were signed in the past, we should be able to evolve other areas of agreement, particularly the economy. We should be able to integrate our economies where there are some hard lines, some stringent rules and regulations. They should be relaxed.
Back in Nigeria, a lot of people are worried about the situation regarding the number of Nigerians who die in South Africa. Can you just give us the picture that you saw or you have seen since you became the High Commissioner in the country?
Yeah. Well, let me say that I was also interviewed just a few days back to say that is it a xenophobic attack when Nigerians are killed? I said, well, with the statistics we have, it is very clear that more Nigerians are being killed by Nigerians rather than Nigerians being killed by South Africans. The statistics are there, they can't lie. Let me say that the last 4 killings or 5 killings, out of the 5 killings, actually 4 were done by Nigerians, and I'm sure it is on record. And I have said it often that South Africa have a kind of a system where they collect data. They have statistics of all the crimes, all the killings and everything. And even the communities can tell you, the Nigerian associations can tell you that more killings. In fact, apart from the landlord that was killed by his tenant, most of the killings were actually done by Nigeria. And the last one, if you remember, in Compton, in Johannesburg, it was even a Nigerian that, insisted that his fellow Nigerian must leave his premises. And as a result of that, he shot him. So he was not killed by South African. So these are the kind of things that I believe that we should correct in the minds of not only Nigerians, but South Africans.
When we come back after the break, French President Emmanuel Macron was in Nigeria a month ago, well, more than a month ago. What has been the benefit of his visit? We catch up with the Director General, Franco-Nigeria Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Moses Umaru. Stay with us.